Hey guys, NBA playoff time. Let's go. I'm going to break down the Western and the Eastern Conference. But let's start off with the West. So as the number 1 seed, we got the Golden State Warriors taking on the Los Angeles Clippers. I'm taking Golden State here. There's no debate. You got KD, the best player currently in the National Basketball Association. You got Steph Curry, the greatest shooter of all time, along with Klay Thompson. They also got Draymond Green. Now, Draymond isn't what he used to be, but he's still a solid basketball player. And they have Boogie Cousins. I like him over the Clippers. The Clippers had a great year. They got Danilo, Lou Williams, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They could probably get Kawhi Leonard via free agency this offseason, but unfortunately, they won't beat Golden State. As the number 2 seed, we got the Denver Nuggets taking on the San Antonio Spurs. And guess what, folks? I got an upset. I got the San Antonio Spurs. Here's why. I got Coach Greg Popovich. I'll take him all day, any day over Mike Malone. I got Nikola Jokic on the Nuggets making his playoff debut. I don't know how he's going to react. Meanwhile, in San Antonio, we got LaMarcus Aldridge along with DeMar DeRozan. These brothers have something to prove. I think San Antonio can win this matchup. I think they steal game 1 in Denver, and they end up winning this series in 6 games. As our number 3 seed in the West, we got the Portland Trailblazers taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I got another upset here, folks. I got OKC. Before the season, I picked OKC to get to the conference finals because of Paul George and Russell Westbrook. Playoff P is going to be cooking. We all know PG-13 is the real deal. When he was playing at his peak, OKC looked like a legit threat. And it looks like they're reestablishing themselves in the stretch run. We saw them beat the Rockets Tuesday night. Big time game. PG hits a big time shot. OKC avoids playing Golden State in the first round. Portland, folks, let's get to it. They got swept last year by AD and the Pelicans. They lost Yusuf Nurkic. McCollum is nursing an injury. I got OKC because I think they're the more talented basketball team. Finally, we got the Rockets taking on the Jazz. I got to go with my man James Harden here. Utah is a great defensive team. Rudy Gobert is one of the best rim protectors we have in the National Basketball Association. Donovan Mitchell, he's a fantastic player. But I'm going to go with James Harden and CP3 and the Rockets with the way how they've played defensively. I think they can cause some problems for this Utah Jazz offense. So I got the Rockets winning this series. Now, are the Rockets going to beat Golden State in round 2? No. Golden State's going to win. Because on Tuesday night, the Rockets had an opportunity to get to the number 2 seed in the Western Conference. And they came up small. James Harden, big time missed free throw. Another wide open 3 he missed at the end of that ball game. And unfortunately for them, now they have to play Golden State in the second round instead of getting them in the conference finals. Last year, the Rockets were up 3-2. CP3 went down. Golden State ended up winning that series. I believe if Chris Paul was healthy, the Rockets probably would have won that series. But you can't go back in time. You got to look at this series in the present moment. And we got Golden State with KD, Steph, Clay, now with Boogie Cousins. I think this team can beat the Rockets in 6 games. In our other matchup in the West, we got OKC taking on San Antonio. And I'm going to stick with my original prediction. I said OKC from the start of the season would go to the conference finals. And I think they have what it takes to knock off San Antonio. I love Coach Popovich. But this is where the journey has to come to an end. I think Paul George is going to be super clutch. This is his opportunity, folks. And I think he will capitalize. So in the Western Conference Finals, we got the Golden State Warriors taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I'm taking Golden State in 5. Golden State is a more talented basketball team. They got KD. How many times do I have to say this? KD is a great basketball player. He's the greatest basketball player currently we have right now. This present moment, I'm taking Kevin Durant over anybody. I'm sorry, Paul George, you're a good player, but you're not KD. Paul George, you're also not on Steph's level. So, Golden State, once again, is going to go to the NBA Finals, unfortunately. Now let's go over to the East. We got the Milwaukee Bucks taking on the Detroit Pistons. I'm going to go with Giannis Antetokounmpo. This is going to be a sweep. Giannis, although I said Kevin Durant is the best player, Giannis has a shot. If he has a great postseason run, maybe I got to reconsider my positioning on that. Because Giannis is a freak. He's the Greek freak. And we know Giannis, he ain't scared of nobody in the National Basketball Association. The only concern I have with Milwaukee is their playoff experience. They haven't gotten out of the first round with Giannis. So I can't trust them 100%. But will they be a team in the East that's going to be a legitimate threat moving forward? Absolutely. As our 2 seed in the East, we got the Toronto Raptors taking on the Orlando Magic. And folks, I got Kawhi Leonard, the best lockdown defender in the NBA. Orlando, nice story, but they don't have superstars. Ujevic's a nice player. Fournier, he's solid. Jonathan Isaac has played well the last couple of weeks. But the Raptors got Kawhi, Danny Green, Siakam, Gasol, along with Kyle Lowry. I think this team has what it takes to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. As our 3-6 matchup, we got the Philadelphia 76ers taking on the Brooklyn Nets. And folks, I'm taking the Sixers in 5. I believe the Nets can steal Game 1 in Philly because Joel Embiid is going to be out for Game 1. But once they get that 7-foot monster back, Philly's beating the brakes off of the Nets. As our 4-5 matchup, we got the Boston Celtics taking on the Indiana Pacers. As a Celtics fan, this season has been very difficult to watch. These guys don't enjoy playing with each other. But now it's finally time to lock in, to understand our goals, to understand we have to win a championship. This is our final stand, and I believe Boston closes this series out in 5 games. I believe the Pacers are going to really miss Victor Oladipo, and I think the Celtics advance. Milwaukee then will play Boston in the semifinals. And I'm taking the Celtics. This is their last stand. This is their last opportunity to make a deep playoff run with this roster. Because if I'm Kyrie Irving, I'm looking at going elsewhere in free agency. If I'm Terry Rozier, I need a new contract. If I'm Danny Ainge, I'm looking at maybe trading some of these young assets like Jaylen Brown, like a Jason Tatum, like Rozier, Smart, Morris. See what you can do to get that guy, AD, on this Boston Celtic roster next year. So, I think Boston's going to be extremely motivated to win this series. Now, my only concern is I don't know how long Marcus Smart is going to be out. I do know one thing, though. The Celtics last year, without Kyrie, without Hayward, without Daniel Tice, defeated Milwaukee last year in the postseason in a 7-game series. And I think that's what it's going to come down to once again. I like Boston in 7 games. I believe the series is going to come down to that Game 7 in Milwaukee, and it's going to come down to the end. And Kyrie, the clutchest player in all of basketball, he's right up there with KD, but I give Kyrie the slight edge, is going to come through. And the Celtics will prevail over the Milwaukee Bucks. I love Giannis, but the supporting cast around him isn't there. The playoff experience isn't there. So, I gotta go with Brad Stevens and Kyrie on this one. In the other matchup, we have the Toronto Raptors and the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm taking the Raptors here because I'm looking at Kawhi. He can lock up Simmons, Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, anyone you decide to put on him. And Ben Simmons last year in the playoffs, folks, he really struggled against the Celtics. And I think Toronto, defensively, can challenge Simmons and go at him. They're going to bracket him, folks. And Jimmy Butler, I don't know about Jimmy Butler. Kawhi can absolutely lock people up. When it comes to locking up people, Kawhi's the best lockdown defender in the game, no question about it. Jimmy Butler's a great talent. But what has he done in the postseason? He's done squat. I'm looking at Embiid. Embiid is unstoppable. But is he going to be 100%? I don't know about that. I talked about Kawhi defensively. But look at what Danny Green gives you. Look at what Siakam gives you. Look at Gasol, Jeremy Lin, Van Fleet. All of these guys, Kyle Lowry, they can all defend, and they all stay in their gaps, stay in their roles. They know what to do and how to execute it. So I believe this Toronto team, with more experience, without having to face LeBron James, can beat the Philadelphia 76ers. So I got the Celtics and the Raptors, just like I predicted in the Eastern Conference Finals. It will go 7 games. Folks, I really want to take my Celtics. And I'm going to take my Celtics. Because Kyrie is a different cat, man. This brother is something special. He's the clutchest closer in all of basketball. And Kyrie is going to prevail over Kawhi Leonard. I'm looking at both of these teams. Their depth is amazing. It's great. But when it comes down to crunch time, would I rather have Kyrie or would I rather have Kawhi Leonard? I'd rather go with Kyrie. That's not saying that Kawhi isn't more talented. It's just saying when it comes down to the final 2 minutes, and I got to give the basketball to one guy, I'm going with my man Kyrie Irving. Boston also has the coaching edge. Boston also went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, challenged LeBron to 7 games. Toronto was swept by LeBron James. I know they added Kawhi and Danny Green. But Boston, this is their final stand. I keep saying this over and over again. Kyrie, he's got to pad his stats. He's got to go all in for a championship. Because if the Celtics don't get to the finals, this season's a failure. You go Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals against LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And the following year, you can't go to the finals without LeBron in the East? That's a failure, man. So I believe this Celtics team really has to lock in, understand the moment, and understand this is their last stand. So in the NBA Finals, we got Golden State taking on the Boston Celtics. And call me crazy, I'm going to pick the Celtics. 7 games, once again. Kyrie, late in this ball game, is going to take over. And folks, let me remind you, the last time the Golden State Warriors and the Boston Celtics met was back in March. And guess what happened? Golden State got blown out by 30 in the Oracle Arena. Gordon Hayward went off. I think Boston has a deeper bench than Golden State. They got the clutchest player in all of basketball. I think their chemistry issues are going to be resolved. And I believe if Marcus Smart can be 100% healthy in the series, Brad Stevens will probably use Smart to bracket Steph Curry. Now, KD's going to be KD. Klay Thompson is probably going to be Klay Thompson. But Boogie, I could see Boston putting him in the pick and roll a lot. And I could see Golden State having major issues defensively with this Boston roster. So, I got the Celtics in 7 games, winning the finals, shocking everyone, and coming out on top as NBA champions. Thank you guys for watching.